Welcome back to the Get Validated podcast. You get validated anything you do something kind and loving for yourself. And one of those things is energy work and spreading your light. And I have a really special, amazing guest in the field of light healing. And we're going to get into all things scalar healing. Thank you so much for being here, Tom.
Thank you, Fallon. Pleasure to be here.
I am so excited. And you can read Tom Paladino, such a fun last name to say. You can read his full bio below, but I wanted to share a little bit more about him. So he is a scalar energy researcher based in Florida. Scalar energy is the foundational life force found everywhere in the world, space, and universe. So if you've seen the word, it's kind of been like in your field somewhat. We're really going to get into what it actually is today. And Tom's actually going to do a demonstration to us, which I am so excited about. And scalar energy originates from the sun and the stars. And if you've been following me, you know I'm all about the sun and the stars. I worship the sun every single day. And it's also about chi, prana, om, mana, life force, and pyramid energy and 0 point energy, which are synonymous terms for scalar energy, which I'm also all about that too. I have like my little pyramids all throughout my apartment. And Tom theorized that all energy in the universe initiates as scalar energy, and that the sun of our solar system and the stars of the universe are the points of origin, or known as the storehouses for scalar energy. And so we are going to get into all of that and how it's related to the divine essence of how the universe was created. It's like so freaking amazing. All things spiritual, cognitive, emotional, and physical action in the universe, and initiated and maintained by scalar energies. And so we're really going to get into what scalar energy is, maybe why you've started hearing about it, and then of course like why we are starting to realize that, like Tom says all the time, it is really the future of healing overall. And the quantum energy from the sun and stars will be the key to healing mankind from suffering, which is really amazing. So thank you so much for being here, Tom. And if you just want to dive in and tell us more about scalar energy, that would be amazing.
Okay, I will. An opportunity to speak to your audience. There's two energies in the universe, electricity and scalar energy. We're going to speak about scalar energy today. I think it offers greater promise than that of electricity.
Yeah.
So I am working with scalar energy instruments. Behind me are scalar energy instruments. Now, this is a new science. It is an emerging science. What do I mean by that? This is not taught at the university level. Some people might call this quantum energy. Others might call this torsion energy or Tesla energy. We're just starting to learn about this other energy, this other dimension. Now, as you put forth in the description, yes, it's known as chi, prana, consciousness, 0 point energy, etc. But you can't take that necessarily to a university professor and say, well, what's the curriculum? There is no curriculum. There is no curriculum presently for scalar energy. So we're going to take this from the basics. What is scalar energy? It's the energy of the sun and the stars. Well, what is energy? It's the fundament. It's the animating force of the universe. There's nothing else that's fundamental. Energy is fundamental. Okay, my hand is not fundamental. A car is not fundamental. Energy, light is fundamental. Now, why is that important? Because energy dictates nature. Energy is the deciding factor. Energy is the animating force of everything, of nature. So behind me, I have scalar energy instruments that control that energy. That's the key to my work. Okay, this is a scientific approach in which engineered instruments can control scalar energy, much like we have instruments today that can control a computer, a toaster, an airplane, a car. I have a scalar energy instrument. So that's a very key point to my research. So these engineered instruments now work according to the laws of physics that is not Newtonian. So let me start. When I work with a scalar energy instrument, it's non-physical action, it's information. I work with this information system by way of a person's photograph. because my photograph has information or a signature on it. So I provide quantum wellness, quantum healing in the energetic realm, it's not biochemical, through a person's photograph. What does that mean? This printed photograph has information, it has intelligence, my intelligence. If I place my photograph inside that instrument, I am now receiving scalar energy. That energy is so strong, it can illuminate a light bulb that I hold in my hand.
Whoa.
So this free energy instrument is so strong, it's emanating scalar energy. It's able to illuminate, here's another example, anything that I hold in my hand.
Wow.
This is the free energy of scalar energy devices. The free energy from the sun and the stars. This is a free energy device. Now, to review, I work with a different energy spectrum, scalar energy. It's not electricity. In so doing, I can access a person's energy field. Somebody might call that the aura or the spirit or the quantum field. It's not a physical process. I'm working spirit to spirit. It's actually antimatter. It's actually non-physical information. It's my spirit, or it's my aura, or it's my quantum. So what some people might call from a religious standpoint, their spirit or their soul, quantum physicists might say the quantum energy or the information or the energetic force field. And with that, we can do incredible things that you cannot achieve with electricity.
Amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. It's a new way of looking at science. This is not electricity.
Well, and a lot of the people that I love talking to, we always come back to how, Mother Earth is meant to help us heal. And then the sun is also meant to help us heal, which is why we are literally on Middle Earth, right? In the middle ground. So maybe someone has heard of like solar energy, right? Like they're like, oh yeah, the sun gives off energy. That kind of makes sense. Like, how would you kind of further get someone to understand like what it actually is? Because okay. I'm sure a lot of people here are like trying to wrap their mind around it, because it's like we only know what we know. And when you literally put a picture next to this device and it literally causes a light to go from off to on instantly, yes. That's like, I mean, my mind is like blown right now. So, yeah.
So obviously this is not an electrical instrument.
Right.
Now, let's go back to my analogy of the sun and the stars. Why is the sun eternal? Why is it that we always have light and heat from the sun, stars? If you look at the trillions of galaxies upon trillions of galaxies, where does the energy, where does the light come from? It comes from God. Okay? So what is the source of energy? What is the source of light? It's God. And God lights up the stars, the galaxies. And that energy has to be eternal. God is eternal. So this is a miniature sun that captures the energy of the sun. Now, with that in mind, we're on to something gigantic. Why? Well, if we can recreate the universe, this is a miniature star, right. Then we can recreate the universe in energy enhancement. This is the new answer for energy creation and enhancement. If I can illuminate a light bulb, once again, if I can illuminate a light bulb, well, why can't I eventually illuminate a city with this? I can. So this science will put an end to the energy crisis. Scalar energy will be the answer to the energy crisis.
Wow. That is amazing. So I'm curious how how you process all of this, like emotionally, because as we know, like there are people in control who have their agendas and are making a lot of, I mean, I literally paid my power bill today And I'm happy to pay my power bill, but I know there's some people that like don't like having to think of like what actually went on to get that power. Like just from doing this work for so long, like how do you like just stay so excited and like positive about it?
Well, I know
Like knowing
God
you have
is
the
leading me, and
solution. Yeah.
yeah, I know that God is leading me, and I have to take baby steps for the time being. But once the world will grasp this and appreciate this and see how simple and eloquent this is, how safe. Well, mind you, this will take off. This will someday be embraced as the energy solution. So today we're working out of my laboratory. In 10 years, this should be headline news.
100%. And so for some of us out there who like want to build our dream home or invest in real estate, like that's where my mind kind of went when you started sharing this, like immediately.
This this should change. This type of energy should change every aspect of our society. Obviously, the
Yeah.
economic order will change with this. Free energy or inexpensive energy will change the economic order, will change our social order. And we are already applying this energy in respect to quantum health, energetic health. And we're seeing significant improvement in people in their quantum health.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I love quantum health and I love doing energy work and talking about the light and the healing power of the sun. This is just such a bigger concept. Like I said, like I'm kind of still like in shock. Like my brain is like trying to absorb this information. So how did you get into this field? And then when did God step in and is like, this is your mission, like this is what you're meant to do?
I about Nikola Tesla when I was 10 and 11 years of age. I love to read. I was always an avid reader. And when I was reading Tesla, I knew that he invented free energy devices. If you really look closely later in his life, he had, for instance, a tower in Long Island. He called it Wardenclyffe. And if you look closely at this tower, there's no electrical lines running in
Whoa.
or out of the tower. And it was at that time out in the country, and there was no power station. And if you look even closer, you see that there's no motor, there's no moving parts. So how can you have something that's wireless without any source of energy, no moving parts, producing incredible amounts of energy? Well, the answer is Wardenclyffe was a receiver of energy. The power plant are the stars. That
Wow.
should be now apparent to everybody in the world who've studied Wardenclyffe. It's kind of obvious. If there's no moving part, there's no rotor, there's no induction motor, where's the power coming from? From the stars. Now, I'm going to show the audience this instrument. And likewise, there's no moving parts. This instrument has no moving parts. There's no kinetic
Wow.
energy. So where's the kinetic energy from? The stars. The stars. Now, in application, what I've perfected at the time being is quantum health. Let me explain. This is my photograph that once again has a signature or information on the photograph. I bilocate by way of a photograph. I never work with people. I work with their photograph, which is much more efficient than having a person come to my office. A photograph bilocates for me. We're having a Zoom conference. You're not in my computer. I'm not in your office. We bilocate by way of Zoom. And if we can communicate by way of Zoom, then we can communicate by way of photographs. So what is the photograph? It's it's the depository of my soul, mind, and body. My information is on that photograph. It's an information field. Now, once again, if I place my photograph in the information field, that's a chakra balancing. The energy that
Wow.
illuminates this light bulb is the energy that's entering into my chakras, into my brain waves. That is an information field. That's how we communicate with scalar energy, through the information highway, not a biological process, not a physical process, the new science in which a photograph represents a person.
That's amazing. And it's so funny because I kind of just chose when I sent in my picture to do the program, which I'll put all the info in the show notes. So you guys can sign up for a free trial. It just happened to be the most recent picture that I took of myself, which was me at the pool, which is me like living my best life. So for someone taking a picture when they're like having a really good day, a really like good moment versus like maybe not as good of a moment, how does that shift and change?
That's a good point. This photograph is probably 3 years old. It reports my immediate constitution because there's no time. So my soul, mind, and body are imprinted, are embedded on that photograph. This has my signature.
Okay.
If I wanted to, I could pick up my heartbeat on that photograph. If I wanted to, I could ascertain my blood pressure from this photograph. This photograph would tell me my vital organs, my function of my organs on the photograph. Everything that I am experiencing as a human being is in the information field of that photograph. The two are identical.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a new way of looking at reality. This is reality. Now, keep in mind, I follow the laws of science. I don't expect people to understand this within the first 10 minutes. It took me decades to understand this.
Okay.
This is a new science. It's a new science. You have to learn this. You have to study Tesla. You can study my website or study other scalar energy experts. You're not in the nightly news. They're not promoting this by way of mainstream media. So you have to go the route of Tesla and study Tesla.
So I've done EE system before, like energy enhancement system, where you like sit in the chair in the room with like the screens. Is this like similar at all?
But I cannot compare because my instrument is custom built. So
oh my God. Yeah, because EE is only built one certain way. Yeah.
My instrument is unique. So it's a unique experience with my instrument.
That is so interesting. And then
that way
go ahead. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I just can't compare myself to any other instrument.
Yeah, I love that. And just also for a frame of reference, because when I was on your website and was learning a little bit more, it actually also reminded me a lot of biogeometry, and especially like when you keep saying signature, because like biogeometry talks about like you having a certain signature also from a photograph. So just like for a frame of reference for someone like me that, I mean, I don't know that much about biogeometry. I just have my little thing that my biogeometry teacher gave me that, it does help me to like know those specific signatures of myself. But is that again, like in any way related to what you do?
It's exactly why.
Okay.
Energy is fundamental. Energy never lies. And if my photograph has energy, it does, information, it's always the truth. Energy is immutable. Energy always tells the truth. Energy cannot lie. So my energy field is the truth. And we have to pick that up. We have to understand the information and the energy on my photograph will report my soul, mind, and body.
Wow, that's so beautiful. I love what you said just about your truth.
It's eloquent. It's eloquent because when you're working with light, there's no mistake. Light is perfect. Again, light is fundamental. Light observes the laws of nature. The laws of light, the laws of energy cannot be changed. They're immutable. Hence, you can't make a mistake with a light instrument.
Wow. So again, like I'm like obsessed with the sun. I love being in the sun. I most of the time don't wear any sunblock at all because I'm trying to get the light from the sun. Like I like to think that I'm getting actual sun codes. So for someone on that spectrum of like hippy dippy meditation, the sun and I are besties. And I'm a huge pusher of, taking a lot of vitamin D also. How would you continue discussing this for someone who's like coming from that angle of like loving already the sun in this way?
Uh, this is only going to enhance your love for the sun. Now,
Great.
bear in mind, bear in mind, there's trillions of stars, trillions of galaxies, and we're
Right.
receiving that energy from those galaxies all the time. So this information system in no way can compare to the trillions of galaxies. That's,
Mm-hmm.
that's not my point. My point is I can control star energy. I'm going to explain. I do it by way of photographs because there's no human ingenuity. There's no mistake when you use a photograph. I'm going to hold up a photograph of a bacterium. This is
Ooh,
streptococcus.
I had that a lot as a kid. That's
It's a
funny you picked that one.
This bacterium causes infection. Now, how do I get rid of it? I don't. The instrument does. The energy does. Let me explain. I'm going to place my photograph side by side streptococcus. Keep in mind, this is not a chemical process. The information of streptococcus communicates with my photo. If I have streptococcus, this instrument will identify streptococcus and break it apart or eradicate it or bring streptococcus to a state of chaos. We're working with signals, information. We're not working with anything of a biological standpoint. This is
Got it. Okay.
non-physical. So my non-physical instructions tell the instrument says, look for streptococcus, look for the non-physical information in my photograph, and bring that information to a state of chaos. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
This instrument brings streptococcus to a state of that's the key.
Wow. And so do you have a lot of people coming to you? And again, please read the full bio below, guys, like so you don't miss. I mean, there's literally nothing that this can help with, but especially someone who just went through like a mold journey. And I know a lot of people who are going through a Lyme journey, and it's this long, exhausting, crazy thing. Would you say this just like speeds up any work that someone would be doing with a functional medicine or a Chinese medicine doctor?
I would say it's a good traveling partner. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
In no way do I want to compete with Western medicine. I don't preach Western medicine. This is not Western medicine.
Right.
So if anything, this is ancillary sessions. This might be considered as a supplement to supplement your daily routine.
Cool.
Now to further that, I do respect the medical community, but what I am working is not medicine. This is a different type of energy healing through photographs, the non-physical pattern body, what we call signatures, what you put so adroitly as a signature. That's the key. And once we realize that we have a physical body and a non-physical body, and that we have chemical reactions, me, and then we have non-physical or antimatter reaction or informational reactions, we realize that there's two possibilities: biological and informational, electromagnetic, Newtonian, and scalar. Western medicine, that's fine, and quantum healing. Two different aspects.
Okay. Last medical related question, but I have a lot of friends who have, overcome cancer, and they did this type of like voltage work so that like, a cancerous cell has a certain amount of energy, and then we combat it with like a different type of energy that's obviously much higher. How does like this, what you do, factor into anything like that?
Okay. Scalar energy is not voltage. Voltage is of electromagnetic.
Okay, so that is really interesting then, right? Because like this is one of the hottest, newest, coolest things I've heard about people recovering from cancer. But yeah, like it even has the word voltage in there. Like I didn't even think about that. It's really interesting. Wow. So do you have people that
Yeah.
come to you with the big C?
No, no, that's not my specialty.
Okay.
I would never go out on the limb.
Okay.
I have, I've perfected this technique because there's no human reasoning. If I take a photograph of a microbe, or here's another microbe, herpes, then I can pick out the energetic signal of herpes and send it into my quantum field, all through the information system. So I work with photographs because a photograph is a source of light that cannot lie. That photograph of
Okay.
herpes is one signature specific to that virus. And light never makes a
Wow.
mistake.
Well, and I love that again, you used strep and herpes as examples. I mean, those are things that we think are just kind of normal and common, but they can kind of ruin people's lives. Like strep can turn into severe OCD. It can turn into like autism and herpes. There's, Dr. Bredesen's research of herpes becoming a prerequisite to Alzheimer's. So
Yes,
this
you're
is
right.
some really important stuff for people to know, especially if they're raising children, right? I mean, I talked to my friend this morning. He's like, my son's throat's tickling. I hope it's not strep. And I'm like, well, you better do X, Y, and Z so that he doesn't get strep, because strep can become all these other things. And what also is powerful about you showing the pictures, it started making me think of Dr. Emoto and the water, and like how viruses and bacteria obviously like look very ugly, and they look like low vibe type words like hate and
Yes.
murder and stuff like that. Has anyone ever said anything about that, or do you have any thoughts on Dr. Emoto and the water experiment?
Those were scalar energy experiments. And what Dr. Emoto evinced was that scalar energy, our thoughts or our emotions or our words, could impart information on water. Okay. So
Wow.
instead of having a photograph that you impart information, Dr. Emoto would speak into water. And you're right. Something that was of a harmful or threatening nature would show disorder, would show
Yeah.
chaos, as opposed to love or mercy or compassion, would show beauty, would be eloquent, it would be poetic. So by speaking into water, that spoken word is a scalar energy force field. You're speaking that force field into water, and the water responds. Why? Everything is an information system.
That is so cool. And friendly loving reminder, guys, like your brain and body are mostly water. So how you talk to yourself matters, because we do know the stuff about water and molecules. Wow, it's really, really amazing. And how long have you been doing this research and this work?
This is going on 50 years.
Wow.
It's been my life. Yeah, you
That is
have to
amazing.
learn from first grade. And I'm not being condescending. This is a new science. You have to learn it.
Yeah.
You have to learn the basics. This is not taught by academia. So with that in mind, I had to learn on my own. It's not been easy, because the only
Yeah.
textbook I can rely on is really Tesla, maybe a few other scientists. Other than that, you have to go it alone. This is, if you have to be self-taught, you have to rely upon God, and you have to spend a great deal of time to understand this energy and understand how it works.
Yeah. Or we can just pay you to train me and other people. I want to have a school for
I,
kids where like we learn about all of these things, like all things quantum energy and seeing a different reality versus,
that's my,
Mom, why isn't the light coming on? Because I turned the light switch and it's not coming on. It's like, do you actually know how electricity works? And it's like, no. And it's like, do you know how quantum energy works? No. I think, yeah, like I couldn't agree more. Like the sooner the better we can teach these kids, because they're going to think it's normal. And to them, it's going to make sense, because to me, this makes sense. Like I'm still trying to wrap my mind around it, but it seems the more that I learn about what works in healing and making the world a better place, it comes back to such simple things like the sun and the stars and people living their mission, which, you know, God obviously came to you and said, this is what I need you to share with the world so that we can actually have an earth to take care of.
Yes, yes. So this shows that we're going back to the Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve had consummate control over nature with scalar energy. That's what scalar energy is. It's the fundament. It's the fundamental force of the universe. And if you can control that fundamental force, you have dominion over nature.
Wow. That's amazing.
It's pregnant with opportunity. It's just incredible what we can do with this energy. There was a scientist, his name was Grebennikov. He was able to create an anti-gravity instrument using scalar energy. And he could hover by manipulating scalar energy.
Wow. Yeah, I like that you said that too, because when people are learning about like the laws of the universe and trying to get people to open up to a new reality, it's like, well, you believe in gravity because this is what people have told you, and we're not floating into space. And then why wouldn't these other laws actually make sense too, that you're not really piecing together, which, you know, is what the law of attraction and abundance and manifesting and all that stuff's about. But it's really, really fascinating that I got to talk to you about this. And it just seems like, I mean, if anyone's been following me for a while, like I'm very rarely like speechless, but this is really, like, I feel like I'm going to remember this time with you for the rest of my life. And I feel like it's going to get ingrained in my DNA. And like, if I have children, it's going to be ingrained in their DNA. And I hope that you do know every moment of every day that like, you are the answered prayer. You are an answered prayer from Mother Earth.
Yeah, thank you. That's kind of you. We're going to solve problems. As a researcher, I solve problems. One of my pet peeves is that we complain too much and we don't solve problems. Well,
yes.
Here's a solution. Okay, so let's stop complaining and let's solve a problem.
So in your ideal reality, what would be different about our daily lives and how we use energy? Like you wake up, have your day, go to bed. Like what would be different?
Everybody is a scalar energy expert. I say this all the time. Thinking and feeling are scalar energy functions. Now just think of this. A thought moves at the speed of thought instantaneously. Your emotions are instantaneous. Nothing can prevent thinking. Nothing can prevent a thought. Nothing can prevent a feeling. Now, if I hold up this wooden board by the instrument, that wooden board cannot stop the energy from illuminating my light bulb. Nothing can stop scalar energy, and nothing can stop your thought or your emotions. So what is thinking? What is feeling? Scalar energy. Scalar energy. Everybody is a scalar energy expert. You don't realize that. So the mind and the heart are scalar energy vessels that transcend time and space. Nothing can stop your thoughts or your feelings, your emotions. So now that everybody realizes that they're scalar energy experts, why don't you use your mind and your heart appropriately?
I love that. Yeah. That is amazing. So just to the daily life, because I like to think and like see and try and feel what it would be different. Like, would we like not even have electricity? Would there not be plugs or light? Like we would just
eventually we have to change the entire system. So we're on an electromagnetic grid, and we have to create a new grid, scalar energy. Well, if I can do that in my laboratory with these instruments, then it's doable, it's tenable. I've already done it locally. Okay, it works. So yeah, there's a lot of work here. This is not going to happen overnight. This is a world scale project.
Right. Well, and it's interesting because there are a lot of energy workers out there who talk about gridding and this concept of like healing through gridding through energy work. And I'm just curious if they're following the stuff that you're doing, because it's like all these little like dots are connecting, like even just from the last 24 hours of people I've been spending time with that are talking about all these concepts.
This is what it's going to take, a grassroots movement. Thank you for this opportunity. People will bring this forward, not big business. There's too much corruption
right
in corporations, and not big government. There's too much corruption in government. So in order to enjoy God's blessing, you have to remove the corruption. And if you keep this with the people, that's what I seem to do, we'll have success. You have to avoid corruption. Moving forward, if it's the truth and if it works, then the world. And that's where we're going. That's what we need. Grassroots movement.
That is so interesting. As you've been talking for the last maybe like 30 to 60 seconds, like the video's gone wonky, the audio's gone wonky, and you're literally talking about corruption and like staying in our power as humans and like helping each other. Just saying, guys, there's no accidents. Like, this is very interesting. Last question, because I'm sure everyone's going to want to like get into your world and do this. So, you know, I told you this morning, I got like my picture got approved and I'm going to be receiving Scalar Energy. Is there like a detox effect? Like, do some people get more tired or like anything like that? Okay.
There's no detox because it's non-physical.
Okay.
It's non-chemical.
I gotta like get that through. Okay.
Yeah. So if we only work with information cannot experience a chemical detox or a chemical reaction.
Okay.
This is what I love about my work. It's non-physical. It's information. It's a signature. So this is not the physical realm. This is the informational realm in which everything takes place instantaneously, and your thoughts, okay, or your signature is found on the photograph.
Cool.
Now, keep in mind, you've never had an allergic reaction to thinking, have you?
No.
You've never had an allergic reaction to the stars. Has any star ever given you a rash or dizziness? No.
Stars only give beauty, for sure. Wow, that is amazing. So I'm going to put some links below so everyone can do the 15-day trial. And the best part about this is that it's like actually a 15-day trial and you don't have to enter a credit card. Like nobody does that anymore, myself included. It's just very hard to do that on the back end. So super grateful that you're doing that. I'm so grateful that I'm receiving Scalar Energy from you. I'm so grateful for your time. And I just look forward to seeing your face a lot more in a lot of different places.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to your audience. Try the 50-day session. Again, just email us your photograph, scalarlight.com, SCALAR. You can include photographs of your family with their permission and include your pets. And we will work with you for 15 days of chakra balancing, a germ cleanse, and we also work with nutrients, a nutrient program. Every day, those 3 sessions, you'll feel better. Try the 15-day session.
I am so excited. I'm on day 1 and I will definitely keep everybody posted.
Please.
Thank you so much, Tom. And I will see everybody on our next conversation. Bye for now.